up, everybody? It's your boy Andres. I'm here with my boy Freddie.
Yo.
Freddie. And we're just talking real estate right now. So Freddie recently was just talking to me about how interest rates used to be 2.75, 2.85, like absurdly small. But then I just recently bought a house and the rates were at like 6%, 7%.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, I'm paying $2,900. He's paying $2,700, and my house doesn't look like his. He's living in a gated community. Freaking hell, man! Like, come on, what's going on out here?
It's timing. Timing is your best friend or your worst enemy when it comes down to doing anything, especially buying a home.
Lord.
And just everything fell into place perfectly for us. We're very fortunate. So a lot of this is luck, you know.
Tell me about it, man. Listen, I've been doing this for a while too, but like, God, what? Like, I'm gonna have to wait to like refinance by the end of the year, and I don't even know if I'll be able to. I'm just like a recent like home buyer. I just bought a house.
What kind of mortgage did you?
FHA.
Yeah. Okay, FHA.
Yeah.
So with FHA, I believe there's a seasoning period of 7 months, if I'm not mistaken, and that's per the guidelines, because they all have guidelines you have to follow for each loan product. For conventional, you could literally refinance the day after, which I would highly recommend. Once you are in a position to do that, you refinance the conventional, because the PMI is a lot less and it falls off automatically once your loan to value reaches 80% or less.
Wait, hold on, but how do you know which one you got? Is it in your contract, or because there was so much jargon when I went and sat down with my mortgage lender? I don't know what she was saying half the time. Like, how do I know what type of loan? I know I got an FHA loan, but how do I know that I got the one that you're telling me about?
Well, the conventional?
Conventional.
Well, it would say, like, you know, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, because they're the ones that digitally underwrite the loans so that they can be sold in the secondary market. Because in most cases, whenever you purchase a loan from anybody, what they do is they'll sell it to a larger servicer, and they're the ones that maintain the servicing rights of the loan throughout the course of the loan, depending on the product. And on occasion, there might be USDA loans that they may sell off, but for the most part, once it gets to a big company, they're gonna service it, and then in a few years, possibly attempt to, you know, refinance you if they see an opportunity for you to benefit from it in some way, somehow.
So these big entities, are we talking banks, right? We're talking like Barclays, we're talking about like Wells Fargo, or are we talking about something else?
Left turn on I-75 north.
You're talking about, yeah, like, well, banks, mortgage servicers, like Rocket, which is non-depository. They don't take actual money at their locations, but they're still considered a bank because they're loaning out money, if that makes sense.
Kind of. Can you like dumb it down for the people?
My bad. So yeah, they essentially, I mean, they don't have any locations where they're issuing transactions like from a checking account or savings account. It's strictly mortgages.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So they don't take deposits essentially at all of any kind, except for payments that are either made online, sent via the mail, because some people still do that. Stuff like that.
So you've been working with Rocket for how long now? Just about a year. But before that, you worked for Fannie Mae.
Well, Penny Mac.
Penny Mac.
Yes.
Penny Mac.
Yeah. Well, I've been working with Rocket since, let's see, it was May of 22. So it's going on 2 years now. About time flies.
What is one, I don't want to say conspiracy theory, what is one misconception about mortgages that a lot of people have?
What part of it though? Like refinancing, purchasing?
Yeah, like there's a lot of people that they don't believe in buying a home because they believe that like a mortgage is like bad, or like they'd rather just stay renting for the rest of their lives. Like, what would you say to those people that like have this misconception about owning a home, about getting a mortgage?
Well, I mean, if you want to pay somebody else's mortgage off for them, that's your prerogative. But I'd rather pay mine off and eventually have some sort of ownership interest once the bank clears me, as opposed to just having to pay somebody else's rent at a 100% loss.
Okay, so let's talk about the benefits, all right? Let's talk about like the benefits of owning a home.
Yes.
At some point after you pay it off enough, you start making money, or like how does that work? Like, do you
build equity?
You build equity, and so what does equity do for you, like, or for your family?
Well, equity allows you to possibly do upgrades, take potential loans that will benefit you out against the house, so long as you have the sufficient loan to value. Because I mean, once you have a house, you're going to instantly have equity no matter what, especially in this market. And with the mortgages, as long as you have a good relationship with your mortgage servicer, there's different options that they can present to you where you can borrow money, and there's no way that you can find any other loan that you can get out there in the world or in the country that's going to provide a lower interest rate than, you know, refinancing your home per se. Because in most cases, if you take a personal loan out, you're looking at prime rate being maybe 11-12% if you're lucky.
Oh,
yeah, that's best case scenario with the 850 credit score. And home equity line of credits, I mean, that's another option. That's a benefit. It could also be a detriment depending on the terms of the home equity line of credit. But having the home and having the collateral there allows you to essentially do what you need to do or do what you want to do while not having to take any personal loans out, which may be mostly interest that you're paying throughout the life of that loan. If that answers your question.
Yeah, that just got my gears running. So
Yeah.
Let's say you wanted to start your own company and you got some good substantial equity inside your house. Could you then take out a personal loan from using your equity as collateral, and it'd be less interest?
Yes.
Is that basically what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. You can take it's a couple of options. I mean, you have the home equity line of credit option, which is a second mortgage, or you could do what they call a cash out refinance, where suppose, for example, your home's worth $800,000 and you owe like $400,000, so your loan to value is 50%. You have, let's see, because your loan to value would have to be no higher than 80% in order to do it. You still have like a good $150,000 to play with until you reach that 80% loan to value.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, you could take that money out, and it'll also be at a way lower clip than what you would take out with a bank loan or a bank business loan, because you have that sufficient collateral. Because once you reach a certain amount of equity, that counts towards your net worth too, which makes you a more attractive client and which makes you a lower risk as opposed to somebody that's got less equity in their home.
Wow. Guys, you heard it here. I mean, if you're not buying a house, I don't know what you're doing. Like, that's one of the best assets you can have.
Yeah.
Early on in your life.
It's the most diverse financial asset that you'll ever, obtain in your entire life.
So, all right. Here's a question for you. What's a better investment? Down payment on a home, or put that down payment into cryptocurrencies? Go.
Oh man, that's tough. It depends on what market you're looking at with cryptocurrencies.
Wait, are you being serious? Like, is this hard, or are you being sarcastic?
No, I'm being serious.
Where crypto's actually
In 2 miles,
a decent investment?
If you understand the market and you understand what you can do with crypto, the binary market at that, where you're betting for or against Bitcoin reaching a certain amount with a spread or whatever. You've heard of that, right?
No, I haven't. Let's talk about that. I know what you mean by spread, like
sports betting.
Like sports betting, or like a spread, like in the like the stock market. The bidders and the ask and the bid spread, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. Like, what do you mean by the spread in the cryptos? Like, if you understand it, what can happen?
Well, I mean, obviously it fluctuates, and a lot of it's based on trends, and the trends usually follow themselves, like, you know, on the same day, the same week, you know, throughout the month. And if you understand the patterns of how these various cryptos or these, you know, cryptocurrencies go up or down, you can actually make a great deal of money by betting for or against it, and at least falling into that spread.
In a half mile, keep
So,
left
for
to stay
example,
on
my wife-
I-75 north using the
Or
left
actually,
three
no,
lanes.
I'll be honest. Full transparency. My ex-wife, we still live together,
Okay.
and you know, it's a pretty amicable situation despite us not being married any longer. She actually got in contact with somebody who helped her learn how that
Keep
market
left
works.
to stay on I-75 north.
In the first month, she made like $55,000.
Wait, but how much did she put down? Like invest into it, you know? Because
She invested initially, I believe it was like $3,000, if I'm not mistaken.
what?
That's what she said. Now, she showed me her trading account that she has,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, it did have that amount in there. So, and it wasn't a fake account. I mean, it was through Coinbase. So,
Coinbase.
Yeah.
Legit.
yeah, exactly. And there's a bunch of verifications that she had to do. The only issue that she's having is at times, I guess you have to have a certain amount down, or the actual amount of money has to be in there within a certain period of time, seasoning period, in order to withdraw it.
Oh, so she can't just pull all that money out immediately.
No.
Okay. So your ex-wife, she found somebody, or somebody came to her and mentored her into the crypto space.
Yes.
And so how important is it to have a mentor to help you in this space?
It's everything. I mean,
It's everything.
Yeah, because I mean, if you don't necessarily know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you've got an expert that's been making millions of dollars doing it, I mean, they're successful for a reason, because they understand the market, they've studied it, they've perfected it, and they know how to go about it a certain way,
Yeah.
and they can predict things with a pretty good amount of certainty, believe it or not.
Oh my goodness. So you're telling me if this hypothetical person were to put money, $3,000 down on a house, or $3,000 down on crypto, they should probably do the crypto?
In that situation, yeah.
In that situation, if they have a mentor.
If they have the right people around them that know what they're doing, yes.
Oh my
Because
God.
it's a very popular thing that's been going on across the world. I wasn't hip to it, apparently, because I had no idea that this was actually a thing. But now I do.
Are you into it now?
A little bit. I have my concerns because of the way the market's been fluctuating, and because of my own lack of experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought Bitcoin. I wish I would have kept a lot of it that I had last year, because I do
Oh,
online
okay.
gaming as well.
Gaming?
Yeah, like they call it sweepstakes, but it's actually online slots.
Okay.
And I made a lot of money doing that too.
Really? You've made profit?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there's a way of actually setting up the way you play to be as optimized as possible, to where you basically reduce your chances of losing completely. Not completely, but I would say I win realistically. I'm trying to think.
But I thought you needed like an account outside of the US to play slots.
Well, it's through Facebook.
Oh, Facebook.
It's
Yeah.
super sketch. It really is, because I mean, there's a lot of scammers out there,
Scammers.
and you have to make sure that the ones that the dealers, or what they call vendors, same thing,
Yeah.
that they're reputable and that they've been cashing people out, because there's a lot of them that will pretend they have access to these platforms, these gaming platforms, where you play the games on these external platforms. They'll pretend that they have access and they'll pay you out, and then all of a
In 2
sudden
miles,
you
take
win
right exit
and they block you,
261 onto I-4 East.
Dang.
which is horrible.
So is that a kind of a trial and error type of deal?
In the beginning, yes. Now, once you've gained more experience, like I have, because I've been doing this for the past 14 months,
Okay.
you kind of get a feel of who's real and who's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's all through Facebook.
All through Facebook Messenger, and then what they do is they set you up on an account, and the account is played through a third-party external gaming platform where you sign in, and there's various slot games or let's see, shooting games that you can play for money.
Oh, okay. So a lot of the viewers, they've probably done this before. They got the mojo down, but some of them are worried about Uncle Sam, and they're like, damn, what if taxes? Like, how does this play into my taxes? Like, could you report this into your taxes, or do you have to keep it hush hush? Like, what's the vibes when you do online slots?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I mean, because almost all of the transactions are done through Cash App. So at the end of the year, Cash App sends you a statement showing how much you earned or how much cash came in, how much cash came out, and essentially that's how they track it.
In a half mile, take right exit 261 on July.
Which, by the way, also has
using
crypto as a crypto wallet. They got.
I actually that's my go-to to purchase crypto. For me, the fees aren't as bad, and it seems like it gets you a lot quicker than it would through Coinbase or BitPay or any of the other entities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Take right exit 261
But
on
I've
July
made a
4
pretty good
East.
amount of money
Then
playing
keep
these
right
slots,
on July
believe it or
4
not.
East.
It does require some skill, believe it or not, too. Like, you get a feel for the game, but the main thing is just the secret behind the success is to confuse their servers as much as possible.
Using
Confuse
the right lane,
the
keep right on
servers
July
as
4
much as
East.
possible. You heard it here, folks.
Yes.
All right.
That's the key. That's the key because what happens is if you use the same device with the same IP address, eventually the gameplay or the gameplay it degrades and it starts to just play terribly after the first 3 or 4 games, or if you cash out the first time.
So what do you need? Like a VPN?
What I do is I actually use different SIM cards or eSIMs, and I run them as hotspots onto another phone that I use just for gaming strictly.
Oh, okay. Boom, 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 boom. The game is always fresh.
Exactly.
You want to keep the game fresh.
Exactly. There you go. That's the perfect way of putting it. And the phone that I use, which is a J7 from 2016, it's for some reason perfect for those games. I don't know why. It just is. As far as from a timing standpoint, for some reason the ping time works really well on that phone with the hotspots. Because the ping time is everything too. Because you know how that works, right? The response time.
Yeah.
Like if you're playing 2K, for example, and all of a sudden your ping time's horrible, your shot lags.
You're lagging.
I hate that shit.
And it doesn't matter how much FPS you got on a phone or a laptop. It's like, if you got low ping, forget about it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Sucks butt.
Yeah, and there's times when the game will play like that where you'll hit the start button for the actual things to spin, and it'll literally take like 4 or 5 seconds before it spins. It's awful.
So for anybody that wants to get into the game, they probably need to get a phone. They need a couple SIMs. Do you recommend any data providers? Or do you not need a data provider?
Well, there's an actual app that you can download through T-Mobile. It's a prepaid eSIM app. And if you have an iPhone, for example, like I do, which I used to hate Apple for the longest time. I was always like a Droid guy, Galaxy. No.
Same, me too. I used to have an HTC Vivo.
I did too.
Oh, let's go.
I had the HTC G1, which is the first smartphone that T-Mobile came out with back in 2010 or 9. But in comparison to the Samsung, iPhone can store way more eSIMs. I literally had like 50 eSIMs on my iPhone at one point. And
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and at the most on the S23 Ultra that I had, I probably had like 10.
Whoa.
Yeah, they limit the amount that you can get on the Galaxy phones, as well as Facebook profiles.
See, so they don't need to have physical eSIMs. They can just be like digital eSIMs.
Yeah, embedded SIMs. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because people think that eSIM stands for electronic SIM. It actually stands for embedded SIM.
Embedded SIM. The E's for embedded, guys. It's not for electronic. Come on.
Yeah, people get that confused a lot of times too.
I'm not gonna lie. I was one of those people.
That's all good.
I didn't know. So it's like a SIM, basically like an identity for your phone. Is it kind of like?
It creates the IP address.
It creates the IP address. That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, correct. Now, what we do concurrently with that as well is we take the J7, we root it. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I rooted my first phone.
There you go.
Yeah.
And there's one particular app that we download called Device ID Changer. And before each game, if we're switching platforms, we essentially clear out the cache, wipe out the history of each gaming platform app, and then from there, right before we play the game, or we at least, press the game to sign in, we hit that Device ID Changer app, swap out the device ID, and then from there, log in and play the game.
So how much money do you think you need to have to begin playing slots like a pro? So you first need to get the G7, you need to get a couple sims.
Yeah.
How much would that be?
Well, and then of course you have to have, the capital to play because you're betting. Of course, like I would say realistically, I mean depending on how ambitious you are, I would say comfortably about $2,000.
Good. 2 bands, yo. Better.
It'll pay itself off, trust me.
And you're just playing slots, right? That's it.
Yeah, slots. I play one game actually too. It's called Colorful Orchard.
Colorful Orchard.
And on this one called Game Vault, which is another gaming platform, it's the same game, but it's a different name. It's called Fruit Paradise.
And how much could you make, like, just off slots, one game? Like, could you make up to $50,000?
No.
Damn.
I wish.
That's what I want.
The most that I've ever made off of one game in one spin, because I got it on one spin literally, was $2,700.
Woo! So that already pays off the cost of entry into the business.
Yeah, pretty
100%.
much. Yeah. And then there was another time where that same day I cashed out with at least $1,000 in profit 4 times before lunch, before noon.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I got really lucky that day. Well, there was one game in particular that was hitting on this other platform that's no longer doing anything, but it was hot at the time, and we jumped on it, and I had so many different devices to use that I was using a different device every time I played the game, and I kept winning.
You just kept winning? Was it hacked?
Say what?
Was it like was it tweaking? Like was the VPNs or like your IP address like malfunctioning? Like how did?
No, it was just
Luck.
It was luck, yeah, luck and like understanding the pattern of the game too. So,
guys, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. The most I ever won in one day which was that same day, altogether was about $7,500.
That's a down payment on a new car.
Yeah.
On a freaking Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah.
So are you, Freddie, changing subjects here. Are you a big car guy? No?
I mean, I am. Like, I actually put the deposit down for the Cybertruck because I was hoping to get one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but it was backed up so many cars or whatever. Like, I wanted to get it. I still want to get it. That's my intention. They say it's ugly, but I think it's pretty cool.
It's different.
It's different.
It's built different. Yeah, I think they look cool.
I do too.
My buddy, he got one. He said he'll bring it around once we have, because we get together, we smoke cigars.
Yeah.
And he drives a Cybertruck. He said, yeah, he's gonna pull up with it next time. We're gonna see, check it out. I'm gonna probably bring like a bat, try to hit the windshield, see if it
Oh yeah.
breaks or not.
Did you see that demo that Elon Musk did where he threw that metal ball at the?
Who didn't? Oh my god, that was hilarious.
He was like, "Fuck!" Sorry, excuse my French. But yeah. That's crazy. But
Yeah.
I love the Teslas though, and like I like the way they take off. And when I first drove it, because I rented one through Turo, it was weird whenever you let go to the gas pedal for it to slow down. Like that's unusual for me at first. I've never experienced that. But once I got acclimated and got used to that, I was like, wow, this is the way you have to drive. It's like complete control. And the way it handles is like, man, it's amazing. It handles like a gazelle. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah. Do you think like cars are all gonna get automated? Do you think that's the future? Do you think the government's gonna push for like all cars to be automated? Because like, what is it, like 30% of accidental deaths are caused by traffic accidents or something like that in the US?
Yeah.
And so, like, do you just think that the government one day is going to be like, okay, we're just going to have to automate all these cars? Or do you see a future where we're still going to have liberty in manual versus automated driving? It's like a big question.
That really is a big question. I mean, where do flying cars fall into this?
Okay, let's say that we don't have flying cars yet. They're still just all on the ground. Do you think the government would want everybody to drive automated cars?
I mean, in a utopian society, that would be perfect. But I just think that there's going to be too much backlash from people that just want to drive their way, that feel like even though they drive aggressively, they drive fast, they're in complete control, there have been accidents. There's going to be a lot of opponents just because of that very reason alone, because they want to drive fast or continue to drive fast and drive the way they want to.
Motorcyclists for one.
Exactly, even if it's unlawful at times.
So there's always going to be a demand for that.
I believe so.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, people will remember the times where there was more latitude to drive a certain way, even though they were driving unlawfully. You gotta catch me first,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, that would be ideal, because I mean, it would greatly or drastically reduce the amount of accidents that we have.
Yeah.
So would a light speed rail too.
Yeah. So you're a pretty smart guy. What do you think about AI? What do you think about what it's doing to the job markets? Did your job get impacted by ChatGPT?
Well, yeah, up to some degree. I try to avoid using it as much as possible, especially when
wait, hold on. You try to avoid it?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, just because of the communication aspect of it. Like, I feel like the AI thing provides way too many canned responses, and I don't want to turn into one giant canned response. As far as my personality goes, like, I would rather think independently and creatively and come up with ideas using my creativity, as opposed to allowing AI to come up with something creative for me.
So personally, you're not using it, but what has it affected your job? Have you seen anybody get laid off from Penny Mac or from Rocket?
Well, from Rocket, I'm not really sure, to be honest with you, because my position right now, I'm a director of mortgage banking. Not so much. Now, could it happen down the road? Yeah, most definitely, because I mean, if it's providing the responses that are necessary to communicate efficiently, especially because I'm in sales, then yeah, I mean, I can see a whole ton of people getting laid off over that, because it essentially kind of eliminates the dead weight, for one. Because
are you worried that you might lose your job from ChatGPT, or is your job irreplaceable? In your opinion?
Could be. You never know. Yeah, because I mean, what they could do is downsize significantly and just have a few teams run AI and just come up with these awesome, brilliant canned responses that are perfect for any mortgage situation. Only time will tell. I'm not really sure yet. I haven't had a chance to really think about it that much. But I mean, there are benefits to AI as well too. As far as research goes, it actually simplifies the research process. Although I do like me personally, I like digging through archives. I like finding things that are a little bit more difficult to find, just because of my background. Because I used to be
Yeah,
So,
research is always fun.
yeah, especially when you find things from like way back when.
Oh yeah.
Because my step grandfather, he was I guess he's considered an aviation pioneer. He was actually, let's see, he got his pilot's license when he was 17. By the time he was 18, the Korean conflict came about, and he was training the pilots during the Korean conflict. And he was integral in the first designs of the helicopter. So, and he was one of the best pilots in the world at the time as well. So, I'm trying to think. I found some archives of the companies that he had owned, like back in the 60s, 70s, and whatnot.
Oh wow, okay. So he was a business owner too.
Yeah, he was a major player. He owned the most helicopters out of anybody that owned helicopters in the United States at the time. And like my stepdad and his brother, I guess my step uncle, at the funeral, because he passed away back in 18.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, you know, he lived a full life, and he was larger than life, and I didn't realize how significant he was until after he passed away, and I did all this research.
Oh.
He told us stories here and there about where he traveled and some of the stuff that he did. But I truthfully believe that he had been a part of something or affiliated with something that was a lot more covert than what he could tell us. Because, like the CIA or something. Because he told us of one story where he went to Nicaragua, and this is right around the time that the revolution took place in '79 with the Sandinistas.
Yeah.
So he went to Nicaragua, got detained for some reason. Couldn't explain why. They fly his attorney there to at least get him released. His attorney, as soon as he gets outside of the airport, gets assassinated. And he's stuck there in this Nicaraguan jail for almost a month. And the U.S. ambassador to Nicaragua had to negotiate his release. Which,
Oh man.
yeah, it's pretty
That's
wild.
crazy. And you thought your grandpa was just an old fart.
Yeah,
But he was actually like a badass.
he was a G.
Tout.
Yeah, he was a top level, mastermind G.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy.
That freaks me out, man, because I don't want to be that. My life is like, what if my life turns out insanely amazing, and then when I get old, nobody believes me? It's like, yo, I saved the president from an assassination. Grandpa, take your medicine. What the hell are you saying? Listen here, Sonny.
He was very lucid the whole entire time, and
Oh, okay.
he could still explain the stories, and he had a very extremely vivid memory, like he was still there. And he
That's
started
amazing.
opening up more about it towards the end, just because he had
right
nothing to
exit
really lose at
27
that
onto
point.
Cove
He
Parkway
wanted to at
East.
least share some of the stories.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had his memoirs written, and they're supposed to be published and released pretty soon.
What's his name?
Frederick Fine. Yeah. And I was looking at some of the articles from yesteryear, from back in the 70s. So he had negotiated a deal back in 78 or 79, I forget which year it was, with the state of New York to actually create this transportation service with helicopters for, top executives, political figures, etc., etc. And at the time, I think he raised like $12 or $13 million to get 7 Sikorsky helicopters.
Wait, and what year was this?
Like 78 or 79.
That's a lot of money in today's dollars.
Yeah, and that's back then.
Yeah, like apply time value of money. One of y'all smarties calculate that present day. It's
Yeah.
big money.
Big money. So, but, with him, it was all about family. He still made the time. He still put forth the effort, and he treated me like I was his real grandson. I wasn't, but I felt like I was a part of the family. And, he was very, very good to me as while I was growing up, and even through college. Yeah, I couldn't have had a better experience with him, and I didn't know how significant he was until I did my own research.
It's beautiful. You said Eckerd College?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I went to, well, initially I started off at Rutgers University up in Jersey. I in New Brunswick. I got homesick and it was really cold up there, and then I transferred back down and I went to school at USF where I graduated.
Okay.
Well, yeah, where I went to school for my undergrad, and then grad school was down at UM.
UM.
The U.
The U. Is that where you met ex-wifey?
No. Here's the crazy part. I mean, I had met her here.
Tampa?
Well, in Lakeland, actually.
Lakeland.
Because my grandparents from my mom's side, my maternal grandparents, they moved out here, and I was essentially living with them and commuting out to USF in Tampa. And yeah, I met her one night at this bar / club in downtown Lakeland. And this is after because I mean, I was married before that too, believe it or not. And
I believe you.
Yeah, I was married before that, and I met her, and you know, it took us a while to get married. I met her back in, let's see, late January of 2005. We became Facebook official or MySpace official Valentine's Day of 2005.
We said MySpace.
That was what was going on back then. That was the rage. With Tom being everybody's friend.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. No, I don't. But
Oh man, dang. I feel old.
No. I love MySpace. I wish they could bring it back.
I know. Yeah, I thought it was great.
It was lit. But so you met her through there,
Yeah.
and then. So.
I met at the club, but I'm just saying around those times where MySpace was popular.
Okay.
Yeah.
You met her at the club. To any of the young gentlemen watching this video now, would you recommend that they married somebody that they met at the club?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it depends on
Okay.
how they live their lives. I mean, she just happened to be there because she was hanging out with friends.
Did you know her outside of the club or no?
No. I met her randomly. Like, I was super drunk too, man. I was surprised I was able to actually hold a conversation with her. And yeah, she just happened to be hanging out with friends. She didn't really go out much. She originally lived in Winter Haven, and I guess she moved out to Lakeland to get away from Winter Haven and, you know, just the small townness over there. And yeah, it was just like timing, like, you know, that's the story of our relationship, better or worse.
So y'all are still chill. Y'all are chill together, even though.
Yeah, because we have a son together.
Okay, yeah. So.
Yeah, he's 17 now.
Dang, dude, you look pretty young to have a 17-year-old son.
Well, he's not my youngest though.
In
Is that
2
your
miles,
youngest?
take right
Yeah, I have a
exit
son
7
that's
onto
also
South
22.
Florida Avenue.
What?
Yeah, I started really young. I was 16 when I had my first child.
16?
Yeah.
Dude, you did not know what a condom was.
Yeah, man.
You just said, fuck it. God's got me.
I mean, hey, you know, like you live and you learn.
You live and you learn, guys.
But it was you know, everything happens for a reason. I mean,
Everything happens for a reason. I believe that 100,000%. Because, I mean, sometimes as the father, you're teaching your kids, but many times it's your kids teaching you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, are they both boys?
Yes. I lucked out. And my son, my older one, he's really into fitness, and he's super strong for how much he weighs.
Yeah. Are they tall?
Well, my son, my younger son's not, but my older son is. He's about my height, about 6'1".
6'1"? Okay.
6'2".
Okay.
Yeah, like but he got really strong all of a sudden. Like, he was kind of underdeveloped when he got into high school. I mean, I think he was like 5'2", 5'3".
Yeah.
By the time he graduated, he was a little like over 6 foot.
Sheesh.
Yeah, he grew a lot, and then he started working out. He's not even 200 pounds, and he bench presses over 400 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, holy crap. Because I used to play football in high school, and I worked out too. I think the most I ever got up to
In a half mile,
was like
take right
345, which
exit
is
7
still a lot.
onto South Florida
But it's nowhere
Avenue
close to
using the
400.
second lane from the right.
400 is absurd.
for his, and he's not even 200 pounds.
What does he eat?
I mean, that's a good question. What's he taking? Like, I don't know. He's all natural too. That's the thing.
Natty?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
His mother, my original baby mama, I guess. I'm gonna call her that.
Original baby mama's a Viking, that's why.
Well, her
Then turn left on
her
South
family's
Florida
Dominican,
Avenue.
and I guess everybody in that family is like super swole, and they could bench press like a shit ton of weight too. Like his cousin Christian from his mom's side, not that tall. He's like 5'9", 5'8". Bench presses
In a quarter mile,
500
turn
something
left on
pounds.
South Florida Avenue using the left 2 lanes.
The bar literally bends.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's absurd. And
Passing these tolls.
he's like a door, but he's not that tall though. But I mean he's
He
just,
looks like a door.
yeah, he's like literally like as stout as the door almost. And he's
Turn
all
left
natural
on
too.
South Florida
He takes whey
Avenue.
protein. He takes creatine, not creatine anymore, but he takes like pre-workouts and stuff.
That's awesome, man. You
But
must be
nothing-
so proud.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Like it's crazy how he, my son got strong all of a sudden too. Because I think when he started, he was like bench pressing barely the bar.
Jeez. Now he's bench pressing 400. That's crazy.
I know. Yeah, I can't hang anymore, man. He could officially beat me up without question. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it depends.
It depends.
Depends on the situation and what's going on.
Oh my god.
You know, if you got technique, it doesn't really matter how strong somebody is.
So what are your plans for the future if you could sum it up in 30 seconds? Like,
In a quarter mile, turn left on Imperial
what are your
Boulevard.
plans?
To pay my house off,
Boom.
one.
Get that out of the way.
To get that Cybertruck, hopefully.
Hell
And yeah, that's about it. I mean,
yeah. How's Cybertruck?
and hopefully my wife and
Turn
I,
left on Imperial
my
Boulevard.
ex-wife and I,
Then turn
maybe we
right.
reconcile and remarry. Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
You going for the third wife, you know?
We'll see what happens. I mean, I've been seeing a couple girls here and there, but they're kind of young and we just don't have a lot in common.
It sucks.
Yeah, because when
Turn
they're in their
right.
20s, you gotta think, especially like early 20s. But I dated a girl one time that was born the same year as my son, and that was really weird.
You were just like, did you go to the
Turn
same
left.
school as my son?
Yeah, like what high school did you go to? Oh, my son went to Bloomingdale. He graduated in 2020.
That's crazy.
I know. I started really young.
Turn
and
right,
I'm
then drop off
thankful
Freddie.
that everything worked out the way it did.
So what do you want to say to the people back to finish up this podcast? One word of wisdom. What would you say to them?
Stay humble.
Stay humble,
Drop
yo.
off Freddie.
And with that, we're gonna close it out. My boy's gonna stay here. He's chilling.
Yes.
Peace.
You're the man.